What's up, everybody? Tyler Redmond, host of Hunter Ridge Outdoors, coming back to you with another video. This is man, I'm so excited about this one, you guys. This is not your average video you guys get from me. This video marks the debut of a new series that I basically have just made up. Still trying to debate whether I'm going to call it the Hunter Ridge Podcast or the Hunter Ridge Interviews, but I have been fortunate enough and blessed to get in contact with some different popular hunters in the industry, whether it's from Realtree or maybe Mossy Oak or any popular hunter in the industry. But today, my honorary guest is none other than Joe Drake. And Joe used to be with the Realtree guys when Realtree first started. And Joe right now is known as he is a really avid turkey hunter and likes to hunt deer too. But Joe is one of those that is just amazing at calling turkeys in and those type of people. But Joe, how you doing today, buddy?
Doing great. Ready for spring season to come.
There you go. That's what it's all about, man. Like I said, I can't believe deer season's already ended. And but that doesn't mean that doesn't mean that we can't talk about it anymore. Because man, we got a deer show coming up in a couple months that I'll be going to, and I'm excited just to get there. But yeah, I want to ask you a couple questions. I know you've actually told me about them, but we want to let the folks know this I haven't asked you yet, but who was the one person or which people got you into hunting, and how old were you when you first started hunting?
Well, my uncle was the first one that kind of got me into hunting. He lived up in the state of Illinois, and back then there was, Illinois is one of the premier trophy hunting states right now as far as big bucks. But back then there was hardly any deer, and we lived in the area of Scott County and Pike County, but there was small game up there, and so he started me out squirrel hunting. Like a lot of hunters that I know, when they first started out, it was small game and kind of squirrels, so
yeah,
that's how I got started with my uncle. My uncle took me.
That's awesome. How old were you?
I was like 10 years old.
I was actually 10 years old when I killed my first deer as well. So killed it with a crossbow, and that was pretty special.
I was like 14 when I killed my first one.
Oh man, that's awesome, man. They ain't no better feeling than that, killing your first one of anything, actually.
Yep, you said that right. Well, I've been bit ever since.
That's awesome, man. And like you say, you done told me that you used to be with Realtree, and go ahead and let the folks know how did Realtree get in contact with you, and how did you get involved in their pro staff in the early years of Realtree?
Well, in '87, I won the World Turkey Calling Championship in Mobile, Alabama. And in Columbus, Georgia, they had their first deer expo, and we went to it. I was with Quaker Boy Game Calls back then, and we went to this deer expo, and after the show, I knew David Hale, and at that time, David Hale and Harold Knight of Knight and Hale Game Calls was with Realtree, and we went to a club after that and was sitting around, and everybody was talking and, about the upcoming season and that kind of thing. And so I was talking to David Hale, and Bill come up behind me and he said, "Joe, you're wearing the wrong camouflage." Bill Crumley back then had sent me a bunch of camouflage right after I'd won the world. So when I told Bill, I said, "This didn't cost me a dime, Bill." And, so he said, "You need to come by the office tomorrow and let's talk." So that's how my Realtree career started, right there at that deer classic.
That's awesome. And as you speak now, I got one of my favorite deer calls. I got their Nightingale pack rack, that little rattling system they got.
Oh yeah.
I got them actually.
Yeah.
But and yeah, speaking of, like I said, remember I let you know I the other day I was watching the old Realtree Classic Hunts too. And yeah, like I said, turkey hunting is what got you into Realtree. But not only that, you've been able to go on some amazing hunts like moose hunts, like I said, whitetail hunts. Tell us about that one moose hunt. That moose was huge. It's up in Montana, Shira's moose.
Yeah, it was actually Wyoming, and
Oh,
Realtree put their pro staff in, and back then they had a advisory staff and they had the pro staff, and there was only 7 of us on the pro staff, and U.S. Outfitters put us in the pro staff guys for hard to draw tags.
yeah,
And if you drew one, it would be a very good chance you was going to harvest the animal, and it would be good filming, for the Realtree. So
yeah,
that's how. I drew that tag in Sheridan County, and it was, I think they call it Unit 1, and it was only open every other year for hunting, and there was one non-resident and one resident only out of all the hundreds of people that put in for that tag, and I was lucky enough to draw it. And Realtree got in touch with Toby Johnson of Bighorn Mountain Outfitters, and one of his guides was Brant Hillman, and so they went out and found the moose and everything. I'd never even seen the moose. I didn't even, be honest with you, I didn't even know I drew the tag. And then I got a phone call. And so we got the hunts all set up, and I went out there, and it was with a bow. And they had found a moose, and we went out there that morning and got on the moose. They had located it and near this big swampy area. And we eased up on it and made the show and got the shot on everything. And I shot my first moose I ever seen in my life, and it was right at Boone and Crockett, and it was an awesome hunt. We'll never forget it. And I met a friend. Toby Johnson was the outfitter then, but one of his guys, Brant Hillman, now with Rangeland Hunting Adventures, went out on his own, and for years and years we'd been hunting together. And I've been filming out there with Brant Hillman with Rangeland. So that's one of the friends of a lifetime that I met through Realtree.
that's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, like I said, I watched that, and it was a 35-yard shot. I remember back then in those days, they would announce this and let's take a look at a slow motion video, and they put the Realtree replay up there and everything. And man, that was, yeah, boy, in any Realtree or any hunting, not just Realtree, but in any hunting video, when they add the music to it, boy, that just gets you amped up. That
Gets you fired up, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it does. That does for sure. A very popular one. I remember it was Monster Bucks 12. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was up in Iowa or Kansas. No, I think it was Kansas.
Yeah, Kansas.
Yeah,
the one in the snow.
Oh yes, and I remember you were sitting on the ground, and like I said, it was snowing like crazy, and just on the camera you could barely see it. But when you shot that buck, he just dropped right in his tracks.
Yeah, that was an awesome hunt. That was one of the hunts. I went with Nick Muntz, then was the cameraman, and he is an awesome hunter in his own right. Of course, he's with Bone Collector now, and he was running the camera then. He was a freelance cameraman back then, and we had such a good time. He's such a pleasure to hunt with, and he's very knowledgeable. And not only is he a great cameraman, but he's a great hunter. And he made the hunt enjoyable. Nick did. So we had a great time, and he doesn't live terribly far from me right now.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Oh yeah, he is. Like I said, I've been blessed to come across the bone collector guys every time they're in state at the deer show, and like I say, because I am high function autism actually, and nobody would notice that until I tell them. But Michael, the first time I met Michael or any of the guys from Bone Collector, I met them when I was nearly 7 years old. And when I let Michael know that I'm the guy with autism, it immediately clicks in his mind. He knows who I am. He'll give me a big hug. And this past year, I was able to let him know of the bucks I've been able to take. And he was one happy camper when he saw that.
Oh, yeah, he's a super guy, too. Michael is, I knew him through competition turkey caller when he first started first time I seen him, it was him and Ricky Joe Bishop. They traveled together, and they came to the Georgia State Championships up in Helen, Georgia. That's the first time I'd met him. He was crazy back then. He's crazy now.
Ain't that the truth?
He's a joy to be around. You never know what's going to come out of his mouth.
That's the truth. Yeah, man. And boy, I tell you, but I think one of the things that really, not only bone collector, but got everybody to appreciate life more and to realize what life really is when T-Bone, when we found out he had cancer and had his leg amputated, that just tore all of us up apart. It was like we were really praying for him because we knew him personally pretty much.
Yeah, he's a great guy too.
Oh yeah, and you know what? They said it right. I think it hurt. T-Bone was very positive in spirit about it. He's like, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to get through this. But, man, the whole industry took it worse, I think. They were all worried about him, but T-Bone come through it like a champ.
Yes, that's from being mentors of the hunting industry, and he's a great guy. You know, like I said, like you said, he took it in stride almost. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So,
oh, yeah, absolutely.
It hurt everybody when that happened.
Whew.
But I think he's back now. He's back in the swing of things.
Yeah, he is. He actually tagged out in Georgia. I just saw on Facebook.
Yeah, you don't want him shooting a bow at you.
You see him shooting a bow, you know you're gonna lose the competition against him.
Yeah, I ain't messing with him. I ain't in their league. All three of those are great archery shots.
Oh yeah.
All three of those guys.
Absolutely. Well, I'm talking about, and literally, I just come in my mind. I'm glad about this. Like I said, I literally, folks, I'm talking to a world champion winning turkey caller. So while you're on here, can you give us some? What's your best tips or best advice on calling turkeys and what to do, what not to do in those situations?
Well, the deal is now it's all laid out to you on the YouTube channels. The best callers in the nation, you know, they're in this to sell turkey calls.
Yep.
And it's kind of laid out for you, even hunting from A to Z. Back when I started years and years ago, nobody would tell you anything. And then I started into the competition field, me thinking in my little brain, the better you call, the better your chances are of getting one of these turkeys into shotgun range. And that's what started me into competition turkey calling. And that was a whole new ball game for me. I mean, right now I got dear friends that I talk to every day about hunting and just life in general through turkey calling. You know, it's like a family. And there's not one of them out there that wouldn't help you. And people would go to those shows back then to talk to these competition turkey callers to get hints on, you know, what call to use, when to use it, when not to use it, you know. But now it's laid out for you, like I said, from A to Z on the YouTube channels. You know,
pretty much.
And which is a good thing. It did hurt the small turkey calling contest when I was really into it and it was at its peak. You'd go to that thing and there'd be 200 or 300 people out there in the audience, and this would be on a Wednesday night or a Thursday night, and there would be 35 or 40 turkey callers there. And now it's that many callers there, and the audience has dropped off a bunch because all you got to do is pick up your phone, and pull it up,
Yep.
and it's laid out there, and they'll explain to you about the cluck and the yelp and the kiki run and the fly down cackle and whatever else that you're wanting to find out when and how to use it,
Right.
So it's just laid out for you, and back then, the few people that I knew that turkey hunted wouldn't tell you nothing. They didn't want you out there turkey hunting, messing with their turkeys.
Right.
So they wouldn't tell you nothing.
Right.
So it was kind of a go and learn type of thing. And now you don't have to do that.
Oh yeah. I mean, like I said, going out there and learning. I mean, that's good too. That way, I mean, if you, like I said, if you were to mess up, not to do it again, or at least try something different. Because I know you don't want to use any of those turkey calls like the those aggressive calls when it's not time to be aggressive. Because like I said, you're early in the morning. You do want to use those soft yelps when they're in the tree and they're fixing to fly down.
Yeah, I'll tell you a little secret right now, and you may have heard this before, but less is better. The less you call to one, the better. You're trying to get his interest up, and then you shut up after he's answered you a couple of times and let him come and looking for you.
Right.
You sit there and keep calling to him, he's going to strut. You're supposed to go to him. The hen's supposed to go to him.
Right.
When they're ready to mate. So.
Oh, yeah.
Less is more. Remember that. The less I call to this guy, the better his chances are. I said, well, she's not coming over here, so I'm going to go over there.
That's right. That is true. Absolutely. Yeah, that is real good advice. And I mean, because like I said, I was hunting with my buddy Jonathan, and because like I said, well, basically, once you strike up a turkey, once we struck one and we knew that turkey was there and in the area, we just went ahead and sat, and we only hit that call basically every 15 minutes, not much at all. Just wanted to see if we could strike him up again. But like Jonathan always told me, he said, keep your eyes out, because that Tom, he knows, he's heard that hen, so he may just come on in and not gobble.
A lot of times they come in silent. I'd say probably most of the time.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yep, that's good. That's good advice, Joe. I guess to close this thing out, what advice would you give to, what kind of advice would you give to younger people? Like I said, I know I'm still young. I definitely still need advice, because I don't want to be one of those that knows everything about hunting. I mean, I have experience and I know stuff, but I don't know everything. And basically you learn stuff every day or every time you're out there and you watch the deer or anything you're hunting. But what advice would you give to younger people from the time, like you said, you first started going hunting to where you are now? What advice would you give to people?
You pay attention when you go, because you'll learn something, just about like you said. You'll learn something new every single time you go hunting. Every single time that you go, if you'll pay attention, there's something that you've seen that you didn't see last time.
Right.
And you just keep learning and learning and learning, and the more you go, the better off you'll get. You just seem to collect the knowledge up in your brain, and nothing can take the even the YouTube pages. Nothing can take going to the woods and learning on your own. You got to go to the woods and learn. Pay attention to what you're doing. Pay attention to what you've learned in the past, and you will learn something almost every single time that you go to the woods.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We and I know, and like I said, anybody what they've seen, they'll tell you, but it's I guess it's kind of more on sometimes it could be more like opinions, but like you said, there is nothing better than to go out there on your own and see what you see, and you learn what you see out there.
Exactly right. You'll learn on your own better than you can. I can sit here and tell you everything that I know about it, and it's not like you going out there and learning and making mistakes, and you learn by your mistakes. And because it might work one time, it might work two times, but the third time you try it won't work. So you got to try something else. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? Either to call the deer in if you're deer hunting or turkey hunting especially. So.
Absolutely. That's really good. Like I said, man, this deer season, I've learned so much and I've witnessed a lot of stuff because over at my boss's place, I have never seen so much deer action in my life than I have over there because I've been able, before this year, I've probably heard a buck only grunt once or twice in my life. But this year, going out there, I've heard him more than at least 2 or 3 times because literally I had a buck. I think it was I heard deer blowing, or no, I heard the deer running behind me, and I saw this decent 2.5, I think, year old 8-pointer come out, and all I heard was, I mean, he was grunting up a storm, and just to see him come in there and that was an amazing experience to learn that.
Oh yeah, there's nothing better than the real thing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, you were right on that, man. But yeah, and but Joe, like I said, I mean, I this is an honor, and I appreciate you taking the time. I mean, and like I said, I'm just one of those that have been blessed to be able to become friends or get to know people in the hunting industry. Like I know you, because when celebrities or people go to hunting shows or any vendor or anything, they just get to talk to people a couple times, and I guess I'd be in and get their autograph and picture. But I've just been blessed to be able to actually get to have communication with people like you, and I've been blessed to be around the hunting industry. And like I said, hunting, I just love it. I love to hunt. And be able to talk to you guys is pretty awesome. And I appreciate the time, Joe. And like I said, I don't want to take up any of your time or your schedule or anything, but I appreciate you willing to have this little time with me and get the folks on YouTube to know more about you and your life of hunting and stuff.
Sure. I'll be glad to help anytime.
I appreciate it, buddy. But yeah, folks, Mr. Joe is going to go deer hunting again tonight. So if you gonna try to tag out, or how many tags you got left?
I've got 1 tag left.
Go fill it tonight, buddy. Do that for me.
I appreciate it. I'm gonna do everything I can to get that done.
I appreciate that, buddy. Well, folks, that is the Mr. Joe Drake on the phone for you. This is Tyler Redmond, host of Hunter Ridge Outdoors, and trust me, there'll be plenty of more interviews to come, Lord willing. Appreciate you guys watching this, and I hope you got some advice from a world champion turkey caller and an all-around fun guy and loves to go deer hunting and been moose hunting and everything. Hope you guys got some advice from this. Thank you guys. We'll see you on the next one.